welcome back everybody. Today's video is really a request from my social media accounts. I've had a number of people asking me how I've been doing regards my prostate cancer. Now, way back, I'll put the video, I'll link the video on the end of the video as regards the what I did for the prostate cancer, making people aware, and that was done back in December 2020. And as you're all aware, I was from that video. I'll just give you a brief description. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and when I was told what I had, that it was not aggressive, it was what I class as a lower grade prostate cancer, although it was still prostate cancer. They were just putting me on active surveillance, which I was informed at the time would be every 6 months a blood test, and I think they said every 2 years it will be providing there's no drastic changes in the PSA readings, that it would be an MRI scan every 2 years. But that would depend on, obviously, what the PSA readings were. So I started off in 2020 and it seemed to work all right for the first couple of years. It were running not 6 months, 7 months. Well, what's happened is in the last 2 years, when you put on active surveillance, what the active surveillance does is gives you reassurance that every 6 months you have a blood test, you get the results of that, and if anything's changed drastically, what needs other treatments, then it's only been 6 months since your last one where you was okay. So it's a reassurance that, you know, in 6 months a blood test, if something's progressed, there's less chance of it progressing to a degree where it needs drastic measures. You've got 6 months, so it's a shorter space of time. However, in the last 2 years, mine, just over, well, about 18 months ago, I should have been having came up to 6 months, 7 months, and 10 months had gone by. No request to go for a blood test, nothing whatsoever. And the point is that what I'm trying to make with this video is to monitor this if you're on active surveillance. And I don't know how it works in other you know, areas of the country, but I'm in West Yorkshire, and it's supposed to have a good NHS, and although I got a pamphlet from the Macmillan nurse and everything when I came, I have a nurse that I can ring, specialist nurse, and that's who I contact when I've got any concerns. And of course, when it's got to 10 months, I go to my doctors and say, can I have a blood test? I can't have a blood test for PSA unless I've got a request from the hospital. They will not do it. It seems very strange that, but no, since 2020 have I even spoken, or have they wanted to see me, the GP at my surgery? No, it's always been the nurses or that sort, or the people that take the blood down at the surgery, local surgery. That's who's dealt with me. Never seen a GP. Anyway, put that to one side. So 10 months came and I notified my specialist nurse and said, oh, we're ever so sorry, you we're running a bit late, so sort of supply and demand. We're running behind. I said, you're talking about 4 months behind. I said, I'm getting concerned now because I should have had a PSA reading, and it could have, in 10 months a lot can happen. So the specialist nurse says, I will send a notification out. Sure enough, within a few days I got a notification letter, went down to my surgery, said, right, I required a blood test. Bang, do the blood test. Had that done, PSA reading. I then had to notify the specialist nurse again to say that I've had my blood test. Right, she then got the reading up, the results up, and told me the results. Yep, everything's fine. It will fluctuate, don't worry about it. She gave me the reading. I can't remember what the reading was. She said, but it's fine, we'll speak to you again in 6 months. Right, now the story is, once again, this time now it's gone on 10 months again, and I'm getting pretty annoyed about this, because as I explained, I rang up again, got the specialist nurse on, I said, look, this is what's happened again, this is the second time. And she said, well, we're running behind. I said, look, I know you're busy and everything else, but that's no good to me. When I went on this active surveillance, I was told every 6 months. That's a reassurance for me, and it means so much knowing that you've got 6 months, then you've got a checkup, and then an MRI scan. Yeah, well, we're ever so sorry. And I said, well, in 2 years I should have had 4 blood tests. I've had 2. It's nowhere near good enough. She says, well, I'll make a note of it that you've complained. And anyway, to cut a long story short, I then got a notification through, a letter through for an MRI scan, which I was due this year, around about September time. They said I had my PSA reading from the last one just a few weeks ago, and it had just increased slightly, but they said they wasn't concerned because it does fluctuate. I said, right, okay. So I got the MRI letter through for the appointment, and that should be a week this Sunday, next Sunday. So I think 27, 28, something like that, for MRI scan. Lo and behold, I sat watching the TV last night, and a lady rang me from the hospital, St James Hospital, which I go to, and said, Mr Lofthouse, you're due for an MRI scan. We've got some cancellations for tomorrow, would you like to come? I said, what time? She said, well, you've got either 10:30 or you've got 4 o'clock. This was obviously today. I said, I'll do the 10:30. So I went down to the new unit that I'd never seen before at St James's, which is like the other side of the multi-storey car park. It's like it's all small unit, imaging unit, car park there for it and everything, pay and display car park. It was absolutely brilliant. It was like a one-to-one service. I went in, he even got me in well before time. My appointment was 10:30. We was there a lot earlier. She said get there for about 10 o'clock. I was there for about 9:30. He got me in, it was done, and I was out before my original appointment time. 2 smashing, a gentleman and a lady in there, nurses, and well, I presume the radiographers or whatever they are. Ever so nice, and it just gives you a little bit of confidence when you treat like I was treated this morning. But what the video is about this, I am nowhere near knocking the NHS, so I don't think that's a complaint about the NHS. They are busy, but what they have done now is, since my complaint, she got back in touch with me then, did the specialist nurse, bless her, and she told me that she's now put me on a system called the ICE system. I think that's right. Down at my GPs now, I can ring up. I monitor my own 6 monthly tests now, so I know the last date I had it done, so I know in 6 months time I ring my doctors up and say, can I make an appointment with the nurse for a blood test for PSA for my prostate cancer? And if they say, have you got a letter from the hospital? I said, I don't need it, I've now been put on the eye system, and it'll be already there, and I will get my blood test and I will get the results, contact me specialist nurse, and she will give me the results. It's an answering machine when I ring up, but they do get back in touch with you, they're very good at that, and she'll ring me back then with the results. So I now monitor my own. So what I'm saying to you is, if you're having similar situations like myself, then I don't know what systems there are, by the way, around the country, but this is what they've put me on, is to please be vigilant about your times. When it says 6 months for active surveillance, it needs to be around about 6 months, because it just gives you that security. So you know, please do monitor that. And if you're having problems like I have every 10 months, ask if you can be put on a system where you can ring your GP and get a PSA blood test. You might be able to do that at your GP practice. I can't. They've told me, I've been told no, straightforward no, unless you've got a letter request, they won't do it. So please just monitor it for your own sake. Every 6 months, PSA blood test, get the results. If you have a specialist nurse, I presume you will have if you put on active surveillance, and then it's a peace of mind. So basically that's all this video is about. Some people had asked how we're getting on, and it's nice to know that when you've done a video, I've had lots and lots of really nice comments from all over, so it's really good. People having you know, in the same boat as me, and this, that and other. So yes, I'm fortunate I'm still here. And as you were with the other video, I had a full knee replacement, and when I went for the scan this morning, I did say, she said, have you got anything metal on you? I said, well, I've got a false knee now, I've got a new knee replacement. I said, do I have to take that off? But she said, no, you're all right with the knee. I just forgot to take my belt off. But that was just the thing. But as I say, they were lovely down there. So yeah, so just conclusion of this video is, just monitor yourself. It isn't any I'm not knocking the specialist nurses that I have. I understand that they're busy, and they understood where I was coming from, and it was nice to know that she wasn't making excuses. She was just telling me the situation that they have, and she's done that, thankfully. So now if I miss a blood test, it's not their responsibility, it's mine. She's put it onto me, and I like that, because I've got a little bit of control over it. I know when it's going to happen, PSA, and I'll get the results. Right, that's the ending of this video, and I'd just like to thank everybody for the nice wonderful comments that I've had, and people asking, because this is why I made the video. I didn't think I had some nice comments, but I didn't think people were actually really that much interested in it. It was just to put out a little bit of information, and if it helped somebody, then so be it. It was good. So right, I'm going to be doing another video shortly on an upgrade that I've done for the Sunlow filament joiner. Had one or two hiccups with, well, not hiccups, my system works fine, but had a bit of feedback from the model that I uploaded, and I'll tell you about that in the video. So right, don't forget, like and subscribe. I'll put a link to the original video for this one, and it was back in, as I say, December 2022, sorry, December 2020, and I'll put a link to that at the end. So as I always say in the videos, until next time, you be safe, you be careful, and bye for now. Bye.